Hi, I'm Heidi Alexandra and you're watching UQTV. At UQ Power, we believe business is 100% a people game and that your experience of work begins with you. Our vision is to see 1 million people inspired to volunteer their best work every day using their unique strengths. But what do you do when you need to give a presentation or speech and public speaking is not one of your strengths? Here's 2 tips to get you started so that you can begin to present like a pro. Tip number 1, define a structure. The worst and most stressful business speeches to watch are those that ramble on without a purpose. Taking the pressure off public speaking often comes from knowing your content, that is, knowing what you're going to say and in what order. At UQ Power, we teach a simple 4-step process to help our clients create convincing, heartfelt narratives every time. In short, the 4-step process correlates with our UQ Powerhouse model. It includes Step 1, the vision. You always start with your why. Step number 2, IQ. Explain what your key points are that you're going to be covering. Step 3, the body. This is the main part of your presentation and it explains how you did what you did in great detail. This is where you use your data and examples to back up your story. And lastly, in closing, Step 4 is EQ. This is where you wrap up your presentation and relate it back to your audience in some way, telling them what the next steps are, how it might relate to their situation, or just why it matters. By using a simple structure, you can organise your thoughts and deliver convincing presentations every time. The best part of this structured approach is that any ambiguity or tendency to ramble evaporates. If you want more assistance with this approach, you can request a free copy of our 4-step storytelling model using the link below. Tip number 2, move your body. Let's face it, a speaker who stands stiffly behind a lectern talking to their notes or their PowerPoint presentation is boring. No matter how good the speech, when a speaker stands motionless, expressionless and dull, the audience is going to tune out in probably 2 minutes. 3 if you're good looking. Not great for our odds, hey? I recently attended a university graduation and heard one of the academics speak. It was eloquent, it was full of beautiful language. But later as I drove away, I realised I didn't remember a single thing. Nothing. Why did I tune out? Because his speech was delivered behind the safety of a wooden lectern. His head looked down at his notes the whole time and his body language, non-existent. If you have an audience that's given their time and attention to you, it's your job to be interesting, informative and memorable. I love author and popular TED Talk speaker Simon Sinek's thoughts about this. Check out this video and you'll see what I mean.
I smile when I hear, you very often hear this public speakers, they stand on a stage in front of 500 people and they say, if I can help just one of you, then I've done my job. I'm like, one? That's your standard? You go to audience of 500 and one?
Right, so 1 out of 500
like,
isn't a
you
really
left your
good
family for a night, you're gonna have jet lag for one? No, it's like, and that the reason I think that's a low standard is because that means the way you're communicating it is in a manner in which only 1 out of 500 understood it, and even if you get 10%, law of averages says 10% will simply get what you're trying to say. I think the opportunity is to communicate in a manner where a lot more than 10%, a lot more than sort of the standard deviations, that you'll get people to go, the opportunity to get somebody to come up to you afterwards and say, I'm cynical with people like you and don't really like things that people like you say, and you converted me. Like, that's the opportunity. That one in the audience was already with you anyway before you started speaking. So I think, again, the burden goes on to the speaker to communicate the manner that is resonant and relevant with the audience. I can't stand it when speakers ask the audience to please turn off their cell phones and close their laptops. I'm like, if you can't hold their attention, let them do something else. Let them play backgammon, The standard, the burden is on the presenter of the ideas, to present their ideas in a manner in which people can understand and find interesting and compelling and resonant. And if that happens, hopefully they'll build upon those ideas and make them even better.
Let me give you one simple example of how you could incorporate body language into your next presentation. Imagine you needed to share an important statistic, perhaps 60% or 30%. How could you express that using your body? Well, the best tip is to use your hands. And not to do how big was the fish, but to keep your set point straight and then to move the other hand to show the different statistics, whether it be 20%, 50% or 100%. Simple, right? Did you like this video? If so, share it with your team, your colleagues, and maybe even your boss. And if you want that resource to help you craft a great presentation, then head on over to uqpower.com.au/resources. Keep on building a life, a business or career that plays to your unique strengths. The best thing that you can do to change the world is to start with you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time on UQTV.